Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Yes, it is. Steve Arterburn here with Milan Yurkovich. And hey, Milan, it is a great day for you and me. You know why?
Well, after I got the speakers off, it's a better day for me.
Yeah, but you know why it's a really great day for us?
No, why?
National Authors Day.
Today?
Today, National Authors Day, November 1st. I think that's wonderful. And I'm gonna tell you about something.
Do I get something? Do you get something?
No,
we don't,
because we've already been given the privilege of being a published author.
All right, got it.
And I just have to say this: some of you, especially a lot of you at New Life, you have a story that you've always wanted to be an author. I think more of our audience than anybody else need to be published. Your story needs to get out there. It's a story of perseverance and victory. And if you want to do that, I've got a special thing for you. I couldn't talk about it last week because I wasn't on, because I was in D.C. with Museum of the Bible. Then I went and filled in for Rick Warren out at Saddleback. And then I went to our donor meeting. But here's the deal. The Ultimate Writers Conference, I talked with Bill Dallas just a couple of days ago. And today, through November the 12th, you could become part of the Ultimate Writers Conference for $99 only. Now, this is like a $250 thing, and it's with Jerry Jenkins and Lee Strobel. All these amazing authors are going to be part of this. And if you've ever wanted to do something as cheap as it could be that could change your life in the writing world, do this. And all you have to do is you go to liftable, like in lifting something heavy, liftable.tv/UWC. Liftable.tv/UWC. UWC stands for Ultimate Writers Conference. And you put in this code word, Steve, and $99. It's like $160 off or something like that. But you have to do it and do it quickly. Now, I want to tell you about some other things, and then we're going to go to your calls at 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. We have free things for you. We have free for you the 5 irrefutable truths that can transform your life. We'll send those to you. All you have to do is call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. It's free. Wouldn't you like to know 5 truths that are true that could transform your life? I'll tell you about one of those later, just to get you to sign up and get it. And then also, we've got 4 products you get free shipping and discount price on. Living Strong and Finishing Well. That's the last book Dave Stoop ever wrote. The Soul of a Hero, the last book Dave and I wrote together. And then 2 of our Understanding and Loving Your Child series, one with ADHD, the other, Your Child Who Smokes Pot. So you just go to newlife.com for those. 10% off and free shipping. That's the deal. And you can get the free download, 5 irrefutable truths that can transform your life. That's what we got for you. Here it is. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Here's our phone number, 1-800-229-3000. Dr. Jill Hubbard will be in, also joining Milan Yurkovich and Steve Arterburn here. Milan and Kay, of course, wrote How We Love. They were sharing that with some of our donors this past week, major donors, and boy, I'll tell you, every time a new person hears that material, life-changing. And every time somebody like me hears it for the 18th time or 20th, there's just something there that makes it even better. Now, I'm having a really great marriage myself. It gets better and better, and that could be you too. Come join Milan and me February for our conference there.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Mylan Yurkovich. We're going to go right to these phone calls. 1-800-229-3000. And how about we go and talk with Carolina, Baltimore, Maryland, listening on WAVA. How are you today? What's going on?
Hi, thank you so much for taking my phone call. I've been listening to you guys for so long, and y'all really helped me a whole lot. So I just want to share my appreciation to you guys.
Well, thank you, Carolina. We appreciate being appreciated, and people like you that keep us going around here, you know.
You're welcome. Okay, let me just give you a little bit of history. I come from a very dysfunctional family. You know, where I was traumatized. You know, my mom was an alcoholic, my father was a rageaholic. However, I have unpacked and grieved a lot of the loss of the relationship I didn't have with my parents. And, you know, I used to be on drugs. I'm coming up on 19 years, November the 5th.
Oh, boy.
And I'm happy about that. I'm very grateful for that and everything. And I stopped boxing with God, and I surrendered and started going to the program in 2009.
Awesome.
And I go to the program. I started going in 2009, but I get a lot of rejection in a lot of the groups I go into. I mean, I went to NA, I went to AA, I went to ACOA, I went to Al-Anon. I've been like a bird just flying from one place to another, trying to land and find my home somewhere. Even in the church groups, I get a lot of rejection and everything. Now, you know,
why do they reject you? Why do they reject you?
Well, to be honest with you, I really believe that this is just my belief, and I mean, it may sound crazy, but as a child, you know, I was told some lies in my head that, you know, I was unloved, unliked, unworthy, not wanted. Now, and I know they lies. Now, you know, they were like strongholds, and I had been pulling them down. But I do believe that, this is just my belief, that that same force that planted those lies in my head uses people today, like, to keep me running.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tired. I'm just so tired. And it's hard to explain. It's hard for people to understand it. I even shared it with other people because I thought it was me just being hypervigilant. I thought that I was probably like losing my mind. But I would share it with other people, and I took them to a meeting, like different people, and they saw it. They was like, oh, my God, when you was sharing, people were frowning. They was like, and I can feel that.
Okay.
I can see it, and I can feel it. And
all right.
So I don't.
So what's the question? What's the question? What's the question, Carolyn?
What do you do? What do you do when you feel like every place you go, you feel like you are being rejected and not accepted and not welcomed?
Yeah.
When you feel that, you know, and when sometimes people even stand up and even said it, called me in the bathroom and even told me this. It's so crazy. Like,
and told you what? What was said to you?
And said to me, it's 4 of us in here don't like you. Leave Jesus out of the rooms.
Oh, okay.
I never even said Jesus.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask Mylan to get us started and try to give you some good answers here. And then Jill Hubbard's joined us, and we'll go to Jill after Mylan, what are your thoughts, Mylan, when you hear this?
Well, Carolina, I am so honored that you would call today and we are glad you've been listening to us for a long time. I appreciate you. And I love the Baltimore area. WAVA is a great station. You know, I'm proud of you for growing and emerging out of a dysfunctional family of origin and doing your best to grow. I think that is magnificent. And recovery is not easy for a variety of reasons. Number one, we are having to try to enter into a community of other people who are also have come from dysfunctional homes. They too not always have their bearings set correctly, and not always are their assessments the very best, because they're recovering too. So thought number one, and I want to go back to something you said, and I believe this very strongly. These lies that you called them from your family of origin, that you call strongholds, etc., Carolina, they weren't lies. You were told that. It was your truth and your reality growing up as a child. So it wasn't a lie. It was actually something you were told that was wrong and it was evil, but it wasn't a lie. It was a reality. And
in other words, when they said, we don't like you, that wasn't a lie. They didn't like her or whatever. They really rejected her.
It was your reality.
Yeah.
And to be able, therefore, as you get older, to say, I want to grow out of my old reality of seeing things through that lens is a different story than just renouncing a stronghold. I just want to clarify that. Number two, it's also important to learn, and this is hard for people who are coming out of the recovery, or all of us really, is to be able to read our audience and to be able to see what an audience can tolerate. I was in an airport recently, and there was a guy about 20 feet away, and he was just talking, and there was a guy next to him that was getting, dazed over because the guy couldn't read the audience, that in fact the guy was tuning him out. And so just the ability to know how much to say, when to say it, when to slow down. Jill, what do you think about that?
Recipes to me, I glaze over.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear every detail of a recipe, right? And sometimes they just don't get it. But absolutely, I think what you're touching on, Mylan, is so important. First, the childhood filter. Mm-hmm. When we have that inaccurate mirroring growing up, right? Meaning people reflect back to us an inaccurate picture of ourselves. Then as we go out into the world, we're looking through that distorted, funhouse mirror, right?
Yeah. And it's not fun.
No, it's not fun. And so we're looking for something to reinforce that. Mm-hmm. So we look to every little nuance to say, see, there it is. There it is. And so we're seeking it out. And that's important for us to realize, that we're seeking it out and we're attributing that meaning to it.
Okay.
It could be.
But the thing about it is that, I understand exactly what you're saying and what both of y'all are saying. I do. However, people have owned it that they would reject me. I mean,
so that's the other piece, though. That's the other piece that Mylan was talking about, is because you were raised that way, now you have to look at yourself and say, in the here and now, how do I impact people? Mm-hmm. What if I never had that? I still have personality traits and things that sometimes I might come on too strong, and especially because of the distortions, I might not know how to modulate myself with other people. And so I think the friends...
Let me ask a question, though.
Okay.
Is it possible that it could be another force behind the scenes? Do it have to be me saying something, saying too much? Could it be just another force
let me just...
the scenes operating and using people to keep me running? Is that possible? Because I'm crazy.
Carolina. You still there? Okay, I hear how.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you're so. I know. Okay,
It's like
but
you
I'm gonna
maneuver
ask you.
myself this way, maneuver myself that way.
I'm gonna ask you just to listen a little bit, okay? Can you just hold on here and just listen to a couple of things real quick, all right?
I hear what they saying, but I freaking don't believe it.
Okay, so here's yeah.
Because it's like you're saying with
Right.
me, like Carolina, you're saying
Yeah.
something, you're saying
No,
too much.
I know, but I want
to
to talk to you about that, Carolina. But you're gonna have to just settle down and just listen for a second, okay? Can you do that? We're on your side.
can.
We're not
We are.
accusing you of. Okay, Carolina. I believe that hearing your reaction to two people who really want to help you, I think that's a sign that, boy, they really did traumatize you as a child. I mean, that's what happens. Just things get out of control when there's trauma that's never been resolved. Now, I want to ask you this. Just give me a real simple answer. Have you ever worked with a professional that was trained to deal with folks who were horrifically traumatized in their childhood? Have you ever done any of that kind of work?
I don't think so.
Okay, because the hope for you isn't in us saying, yes, there could be a force behind it. See, I think the force isn't behind it. I think the force uses everything together until we make sure there aren't any things that the force can use. That evil force uses trauma. That evil force uses the things that are imprinted in your brain. So what we have to do, just like if you told me there was a nail in your head, but do I think there could be evil forces in addition to the nail in your head? I'd say, I think that nail's there because of the evil force, and I think the evil force could do other things. But before we deal with the force, let's get that nail out of your head. Let's see if that doesn't help. You have a nail in your soul. It's called trauma. And until you treat it and essentially get it out of there, there are going to be all sorts of horrible, crummy stuff that's just going to continue to cause problems for you. So I'm going to find a trauma therapist that can work with you, a Christian who knows about this. They've specifically been trained in this area, and if you're willing to work with them, it'll be like a miracle to you, the difference. And you're not going to have to feel what you were expressing just then from people trying to help you who care about you, much less from people that might say things who don't care about you and aren't sensitive to what you're going through. Jill, you have another thought here?
Yeah, Steve, I think you're exactly right on, Carolina, and I mean for Carolina, and I can see how just as we were telling you things, you were hearing, it's all you, it's your fault, you're wrong, and that's what your family did to you. And so that makes it really hard to receive. So I think you're right. So this is stuff that was done to you, Carolina, and that now you're having to deal with.
How does that sound to you?
Well, I understand what y'all saying, I do. But I still really believe that the enemy behind the scenes using other people to keep me from a place that God wants me at.
Hey, I totally agree with you. When people come to our workshops, before they leave, I tell them, hey, we're all working for you, but when you go home, Satan's going to use some people that you love to kind of get you off track. They won't maybe even know they're doing it. And I tell them whenever somebody does that, you just tell them, yeah, they warned us. Somebody that we love might not like us getting better or might feel a little threatened by that. And and now here Satan's using you. I kind of joke about it, but it helps them when it happens, because people will say things like, well, do you think it was really that good, or, whatever. So I'm on your team. I believe that Satan uses people, and they don't know that they're sometimes being destructive. They might even, and they may not. Yeah, and they may not even know that it hurts you, and certainly not to the degree that it does. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you this book, Healing is a Choice, and I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back, and then we're going to try to find a really good trauma specialist for you to go to. And I would imagine we've got some scholarship funds that we could get this taken care of, because I want to hear from you in 6 months. I want to hear that something is better, because I don't want you to go through with this kind of pain in your life. All right. Glad you called. 1-800-229-3000 if you want to join us on the program.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Orange County, California, November 5th through the 7th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry, with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. A lot of people they're just afraid to get any kind of counseling. And when it comes to trauma or some kind of specialty counseling, just all sorts of reasons not to. And I just want you to know that we would never, ever recommend something that we thought hurt somebody's faith or deviated from the faith. We really want to be sources of truth. The other day we had a caller talking about in vitro fertilization. I got an email from a woman, and she says, couldn't using a sperm donor be viewed as adultery? And I said, no. No. And I'm just, whoever came up with that's really a stretch to do that. Now there are all sorts of issues with it, and I think whoever the child is has a right to know who was this donor and what medical issues does he have later in life, all those kinds of things. But that's a different issue. Adultery or sex. I mean, that's something two people do together as sexual. Implanting with a a syringe or whatever, a sperm and an egg that have been fertilized outside and implanting that in the womb. No. But
and that's something a husband and wife do together.
Right.
Right? It's not the wife sneaks off.
The other thing is I was trying to really be gentle with the person that called, and this person says, don't you think that when eggs are fertilized and they're destroyed, that is the equivalent of abortion? And I absolutely do think that, and a lot of people don't because they've never really thought it through. But life begins at conception. So that's why there has been a new movement. Rather than destroy eggs that have been frozen, then people put them up for adoption as if it was a 1-year-old child or 2-year-old child. They look for parents that would be appropriate, parents that can't have kids on their own, and they look for them, and that honors the life that was created. So it's 20 years ago, people weren't thinking maybe this way or that, but today there's plenty of support for considering. And what some people do who use in vitro is they simply have the number of eggs. It lowers the chances for pregnancy, but they just have the number of eggs fertilized that are going to be implanted in them that might create a birth. Maybe it's 3. So all of that just to say, we want to be precise about things. And while sometimes somebody might be right about one thing, not everything. And I sure didn't want anybody to think we would ever think that in vitro fertilization involved anything sexual at all. A lot of issues around it, though. All right, having said that, let's go back to our phones, 1-800-229-3000. Let's go to Cindy. And Cindy's calling us from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Hi, Cindy, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Great. What's going on in your life today?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. This is the day that the Lord has made. I wanted to know if you guys can explain, because, just as Jesus said, very few people follow him on the narrow path. So, certain times Christians do things. I mean, we can't Christianize anything, like take yoga, for instance, right? We can't, put, it's Christian, it has obvious pagan and satanic roots. Same for Christmas. Like Christmas, it has pagan roots. I don't really believe Jesus was born in winter, by the way, but it was called German Yule or Roman Saturnalia. And don't you believe God has a zero tolerance for idolatry? So, with all this promotion, when you guys do it, it's pagan. But when we do it, it's Christian. I mean...
Okay, let me ask you a question real quick, okay? So you're making the point that anybody celebrating...
pagan roots, yes? Do you admit that Christmas is pagan?
Oh, not at our house. It's not a pagan thing at our house. But I hear
when you guys do it, it's Christian. I mean, it has pagan roots. It predates Jesus. It's called German Yule
actually,
and Roman Saturnalia.
No, at our house.
What do you think of Jeremiah chapter?
At our house,
go ahead.
We celebrate the fact that Jesus came into the world to save the world as a little baby. And it doesn't matter whether it was in the summer or winter, and we just like to take one day out of the year to celebrate his birth, just like we absolutely observe his death, burial, and resurrection on Easter. But I understand your concern. Did you celebrate Christmas as a little girl? Did you celebrate it as a little girl?
Well, yes, this world gets brainwashed by, Satanism, or celebrate this day that way. Of course, Christ is to be the center of our worship, but the Christmas tree, the songs, all those traditions, they're pagan. So
you've heard about, have you heard...
when they do it, they're Satanists, but when we do it, it's Christian.
Well, this has a lot of emotion for you. Have you heard the story about how Santa Claus became a tradition?
What do you mean, honey? I'm not cold. You're lukewarm.
Excuse me?
I'm not cold or lukewarm, and Jesus knows this.
All right. Well, well, we'll talk about these things after this break.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You are a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn. And we were talking here with Cindy from Colorado Springs, KGFT, and she had some pretty strong feelings about Christmas. And I would just say this, that I love the story of this saint that, you know, kind of got morphed into Santa Claus in a sled sliding down chimneys. But I love the original story of a saint who, there were these daughters who had no dowry, and he found a way to slip them some valuable things. I think he left it in their shoes or stockings or something, and they were able to get married in this culture. And it's a true story. And when I think of Santa Claus, I think of that kind of giving as the source of the Santa part of this. I'm the one that always brings out that Santa and Satan are spelled with the same name, same letters, and I joke about that. But anyway, here's the thing. I've never ever felt like that Christmas was pagan. I felt like there's some things that can be evil about it, like borrow $3,000 to buy gifts for everybody when you make $10,000 a year or something like that. There are all sorts of things that we can do with anything. But I'm just going to tell you, at our house, we celebrate Christ's birthday at Christmas. And it's really cool that this one time a year you'll see people talking about Jesus. Not everybody, and a lot of people have put X over Christ, but not everybody has done that. And I just want to go with that, and I want to be sure my kids know that this is about Jesus and nothing else, no matter what they used to do at any particular time in history. But I know this, there was a day that some shepherds were standing out in a field, and they were just minding their flocks, and some angels showed up, a bunch. because Jesus was born. And I like to tell that story. And they saw this little baby, not in a gold robe at the foot of a throne, but in a barn. And that's what we celebrate, that Jesus came to earth as a little child. And then he honored children. And he told us, why don't you be like a child? If you're angry, if you're arrogant, like some angry, arrogant, judgmental adult, why don't you get like a child? Children are fascinated. They're loving. They're looking for answers. And I think that's what we celebrate at our place. Jill, Mylon, any thoughts here?
Yes. I'm not willing to give over all the holidays to non-believers just because there might be some influences of Satan trying to thwart our holidays, right? And I think, we are supposed to be the light of the world. And so, excuse me, we bring something different. And I think, Steve, what you're saying, like at Christmas time, everybody is more open. It's more okay to say the name of Jesus, and people are more open to the Christmas story. It's weird. It's like this window opens, and people will hear it, and then as soon as it's over, they shut the window, right? But that's a time, I think, for us to shine brightly. And of course, Satan tries to ruin everything. Of course, he tries to get in there and make it all about Santa or the Easter Bunny or those things. But I don't think as Christians, if we're trying to relate to this world, I don't think we want to squash all the fun and the joy and the good that comes. But we have to live in that tension that there is always good and bad side by side. We're never going to get rid of all the bad. And we need to be relational with people. If we just spout at them that they're, it's evil or it's pagan, we're not going to win them to Christ. Who would want to join that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And certainly there are a lot of people that, Cindy, they choose not to follow these celebrations as Christians. And there are people who are pacifists. They don't go to war. There are people they won't get vaccinated. There's a lot of different beliefs within Christianity. But Satan has distorted everything that God made and has tried to desecrate everything that God made. Satan has tried to and has been quite successful at desecrating marriage, sexuality. What does it mean to be a male? What does it mean to be a female? And all of these creations of God have been just dragged through the mud by our enemy. And so you're right to resist in the sense that we want to be highly aware of what the world has done to things that are sacred to us. But one last closing comment, Steve. To your point, the angels said, "For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord." And he's our Savior. And so that is a special announcement, a special proclamation. And give me another day. I'll celebrate it on that day. But it is a beautiful day in history when angels invaded those shepherds watching their flocks by night. Yep. So we rejoice. And
that's the day we celebrate.
That's right.
We're not celebrating some pagan holiday.
No, we're not.
We're celebrating Christmas.
That's exactly right.
The cool thing about Christmas, some people say this is so sad that the only time people go to church is around Christmas. Well, I think that's a great thing, that they will at least go on Christmas, because then they might discover, oh, this isn't such a weird thing or crummy thing. And I was sharing, when I filled in at Saddleback 2 weekends ago, I was sharing the power of going to church every week, that, you're 50% less likely to divorce. I mean, this is a study out of Harvard that said all that.
Yeah.
And 5 times less likely to commit suicide, a 33% chance that you're going to be a greater chance you'll be alive in 16 years if you go to church every day. I mean, just all sorts of amazing stuff. And I was sharing with, that when you go to your doctor, he ought to be asking about your church attendance. It's so healthy versus dealing with something that's sacred, like how much bacon that you eat. That's just none of their business. So anyway, I want to encourage people to go to church this Christmas and go to church the the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and I think you're going to find that your life is so much better celebrating Christmas at church with other believers and honoring the God of the universe that came down here to live and to literally die for us and be raised, and so that we can be free. Speaking of free, Larry doesn't charge us one bit to come in here and share a testimony, a story. What's on your mind there, Larry?
Well, every man's battle week. This is this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right here in Orange County. And this is your chance, guys, and this is your chance, ladies, to help your guy get there. I want to read a testimony, real brief. This was the most meaningful, uplifting, and life-changing event of my life. I've done another 11-day men's intensive, but its impact pales in comparison because it was secular and lacked God's love and our redemption through Christ's sacrifice. I feel closer to my group and brothers in 2 days than 11 days with others. I leave feeling loved, inspired, changed, and redeemed. Folks, it doesn't get any better than that. So guys, consider coming. You have all these preconceptions about the strange men who are going to be there and the weird things we're going to tell you at the workshop, and it's all Satan's lies. Go there and feel loved on, learn about things, feel connected with others. And folks, if you want to support a ministry, there's nothing better to support than a ministry like New Life that will create these workshops, do this radio program, create a counseling network, all the things we do to help people that are hurting. And it's coming up on year end pretty soon. November, the calendar flipped. And we could sure use a good, healthy, strong end of the year, November, December.
We could. We really, really could. And I want to address something. I was talking with someone at our donor gathering, and their respected Christian counselor said, well, your husband should be the one to initiate this versus you. And to me, that's 10 to 20-year-old thinking. Would you rather your sex-addicted husband be sitting at home doing nothing, or around people talking about the problem that he has? Because so many people go there. They don't want to be there. It's our job to deal with that and turn that around. So don't listen if somebody says, well, he needs to decide to do that. No, you tell him, the amount of pain I have experienced warrants you doing something for you.
Steve, that would mean we never do interventions.
Yeah, that's right.
Because what addict volunteers said, "Hey, I'll go right now
in their
treatment."
Most unhealthy state."
Oh yeah, in their most unhealthy state. I want to go for treatment. I'm going to put myself in a car right now and go do that. It all takes interventions, and it's called a boundary that says, "I love you, but I'm not going to live with you anymore when you behave this way."
1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can help us fund some of this, or if you need that help. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. I don't know what your struggle is, but we'd love to hear about it at 1-800-229-3000. Or if you have a comment or a complaint, whatever, you just give us a call. We're going to be here another hour and 15 minutes.
We really are a clearinghouse for a lot of different issues.
We are.
It's not just emotional stuff. It's theological, it's emotional, it's cognitive, it's philosophical. That's what I love about this show.
Just like we want it to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. 1-800-229-3000. If you want to join us here, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want information about anything we're doing, including Every Man's Battle coming right up, you can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on the app, the New Life app. It's the New Life Live app. And you could just go to newlife.com. Everything's there, available all the time. But right now, I'm going to go back to the phones, talk to Lacey from Knoxville, Indiana. Hi there, just down the road from me, or up, I don't know. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Thank you so much for taking my call. I've called several times. I had no idea the show even existed. I found it a few weeks ago, and I listen every day that I can.
You just stumbled onto it?
And my issue... Do what?
You just stumbled onto it on radio?
I did. I just somehow was searching in my new car on Sirius XM and found it, and just, especially the sexual addiction, affair recovery. My husband is a recovering sex addict. We've been through, I filed for divorce several years ago, and
how's he doing?
Around somehow.
How's he
He's doing great.
Good.
He's doing good. We actually did an intensive with Jim Kress. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yes.
And he somehow knew our therapist that we got into, and did an intensive with him, did intensive disclosure, all those things with our therapist.
Wonderful.
Walked through all of it after he decided he was going to be all in.
Good.
So, but that's not, we're still need to go to therapy over that, but both are doing what we need to do to keep our family and marriage together.
Just a quick side note here. Do you know that Jim Kress used to be the announcer on this program?
I did not.
Yeah, there you go. See, it's God's will that you be here with us today. Okay, so what's the question? We don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to get to your call.
Okay, thank you so much. My question is, his family is extremely dysfunctional, a lot of alcohol abuse. Growing up, his dad, I'm sure, is a sex addict, had multiple affairs with his mom. My husband saw a lot of things growing up. And when I came in the picture, however many years ago, over 20 years ago, his mom just never liked me. And she was a typical bitter woman. Just from now looking back, I can see a lot of reasons why she is how she is after what I've been through. But I just had God in my life to pull me through, and chose that road instead of bitterness and everything that, you can choose after going through what I've been through. So anyway, long story short, as I can make it, we just never got along. They never liked me. Okay. I come from
All right, you're going to have to go to the question, though. Family. It's a bad situation. Okay. We get it. What's the question?
Yes. At what point do you just disconnect from the family? We haven't spent any time with them in probably over 5 years. He doesn't really want to address all that happened to him growing up. I have been privy to all the information through our therapy. We just don't have any relationship with them. Our kids don't have a relationship. We've explained to our kids some of the reasons without, all the sexual details of his dad's past. And I just...
When you're...
I just feel like it's,
Go ahead, Jill.
It sounds like you already are disconnected. And so I'm not sure.
We are disconnected.
Right. So
we are disconnected, but they do try to text or say, can we get together for holidays? But anything that I've tried to tell them or ask him about his past, they say he's lying. Nothing ever happened.
Okay.
Which is not true.
Okay. So you're feeling like you need to formalize the disconnect versus just have it be a distant relationship? And
I guess so. I guess it just feels unnatural for a Christian to just cut people off. Now, I've always had boundaries in place with them because they have to be there. But, I mean, it just got so toxic that we don't have anything to do with them. They're not my parents. Though.
So let us give you some options. What would be one option for her? Just continue to do this, I guess, is an option.
Maybe if you do feel like you have to see them not at a holiday time. Mm-hmm. A time and place of your choosing that has lots of boundaries, and it's you get to kind of call the shots and offer that. I think there are certainly times where people have to cut people off, but I think that as Christians, that has to be our absolute last resort.
I agree.
And when you make a big deal about we're cutting you off, it sends a shockwave to people. And I think as Christians, I think it can sometimes be counterproductive in our message, right? Versus when you do this, it makes me feel this, or when you're drinking, I'm not able to be around you, or setting those boundaries, or saying, sometimes it's just, that just really doesn't work for us, right? And if they want more information, then you invite them into a discussion. And if they say it's lies, well, that hurts us that you don't hear that, but you act loving towards them, but you take care of yourself and you set the pace of the relationship for yourselves.
And you be specific and say, when Bob told me that you said I'm stupid or whatever they might have said about you, you say that really hurt me, and that makes me.
We've gone down that path.
Not,
so blowout.
Let's see if Mylon has an idea for you.
So, Lacey, I'm going to share something different, and I think this is important, and it's just a simple principle that we do not have to execute justice everywhere we go. It's possible to hang out with people that are on very different plane than I am, and I have to ascertain what are their capacities and what is my potential influence upon them in a positive way. Everybody I know has dirty laundry in the past. As a friend of mine who's an author wrote, all my friends have issues. And it's true. All family members have issues. All family members have sorted laundry lists. But do I have to execute justice everywhere I go and demand answers and require them? And so my answer is no, but I have a shallow relationship with those people, but I don't disconnect from them. And I would challenge you, Lacey, to also look at other ways that this might be true in your life, of other areas where you might be doing the same thing, because it is a really isolating and a place where everything becomes a courtroom. And I really want to encourage you, but I'm going to also say probably something in your history drives you to that.
All right, I'm going to send her How We Love, which is all about all of this, and I think it'll be a great insight to her parents, her husband and his parents and all of that. And I'm really glad that she called, which we had more time. Really great point, Mylon, about the justice issue. All right, I want to be sure everybody heard in the beginning that if you want us to download to you for free 5 irrefutable truths that could transform your life, do that, newlife.com. 10% off and free shipping on 4 books that you can find at newlife.com, and $60 off if you go to liftable.tv/UWC keyword Steve. Sign up for the website to make you an author.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.